All right, bonjour, c'est lundi. What is the date? Le 6 décembre. And today we're beginning our new chapitre, chapitre 6. So we are going to go to our book pages under chapitre 6 to begin. Everybody take a look. Let's hide this. And let's see what we're going to be doing in chapitre 6, which will be our last chapter before our final exam. Normally we get through chapter 7. We didn't get there, but that's no worries. We will just pick it up in French too. So this will be our last chapter. So, chapitre 6, amusons-nous. Let's have fun. In the first étape, you see we are going to make plans, which we've already started, haven't we? We learned how to use en and ask a question. Just conjugate our verb that we want to invite somebody to do in the il, elle, on form. We're going to learn 3 or 4 other ways to suggest or invite people to do something with us. And we're going to learn a few more ways to accept and reject. Bonjour. We are on chapter 6. We're looking at the book pages in our Chromebooks. All right. In the second etap, we're going to oh, you know what? We are going to do what I just talked about in the second etap. In the first etap, we are going to learn more places around town and things to do there. So it's going to be heavy on the vocab. And then the second etap, we're going to use those places and those activities to invite people and accept and reject. And then in the third etap, we're going to kind of wrap up our conversations. And it's going to be like, okay, you've accepted the invitation. Where are we meeting? At what time? With whom? So we have some like questions and some answers to kind of make final arrangements. And that's chapter 6. All right, so let's scroll down. And the first étape, première étape, making those plans. And I'm just going to have you guys répéter. So our first question here, what are you going to do? And we have 2 different ways to say that. And then we can add in like this weekend or tonight or after school to kind of get a feel for is somebody available to do something with you. All right, so we first start with that qu'est-ce que, what? Répétez. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire? And on this example, they put a demain, which is tomorrow. Let's put it all together. Répétez. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire demain? An informal way, slangy kind of way, instead of putting qu'est-ce que at the beginning, we're going to say quoi, which also means what, and it's only when you put it at the end or after prepositions. Répétez, quoi? Répétez, tu vas faire quoi? Tu vas faire quoi ce week-end? Excellent. So those are our 2 different ways to say, what are you going to do? And we can add in a demain or ce weekend or après l'école, after school. All right. So then they just have examples. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. We'll get to that to a minute. But we have 2 expressions if you're not doing a lot. And they're in bold here. Répétez. Pas grand-chose. Rien de spécial. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Bon, let's scroll down. And here we have the different activities that we want to be able to say. Some of them are ER verbs like regarder, unmatch, manger quelque chose. Ooh, what's that? Why is it blue? Hold on. What's going on? I don't know how to make this go away either. Sorry. Okay, well, it's blue. Whatever. And then we have some irregular verbs like voir, to see, and then some faire expressions. All right, let's go through them. So to watch a game, regarder is to look at or to watch, and we've already had this with regarder la télé. You remember that back in chapter 1? So now instead of regarder la télé, we are going to watch a match, watch a game. And we can do that on TV or at the stadium, right? This is really bothering me. What did I do? Still blue. Well, whatever. Okay, désolé, it is blue. Let's go through these. So this is going to be our main vocab for our expressions of new things that we can go and do. All right, here we go. Répétez. Regarder un match. Manger quelque chose. Now, quelque chose is generic for something. You can always change that up into what it is you want to watch or what it is you want to eat. So if you want to go eat croque monsieurs at the cafe, instead of quelque chose, you just throw in what it is. Or if you want to go eat pizza at a restaurant, you can say manger de la pizza au restaurant. Or you can just say you want to go get something to eat if you're not sure what that is. Let's do that again. Répétez. Manger quelque chose. Voir un film. Allez voir un match. So notice we have regarder un match and voir un match. They both mean the same thing, to watch, to see, right? So you can use either of those verbs. All right, let's continue. Répétez. Voir une pièce. Faire une promenade. Faire les vitrines. We learned faire les magasins in chapter 1. Remember that? Faire les vitrines is to window shop. And remember the French do that a lot. All the different stores have big window displays because, remember, space is limited. So they don't tend to go inside the shops unless they're really they are intend to buy something. Instead, if you're just kind of meandering around just for something to do, you would just window shop along the stores. So this would indeed be something that they might do. Répétez, voir les vitrines, or excusez-moi, faire les vitrines. Faire un pique-nique, and aller à un boom. All right, Wednesdays, remember they don't have school, so a lot of times this is when they'll have get-togethers or un boom, or on the weekends, of course. So those are our expressions that we want to get familiar with. Let's look over at the note de grammaire. If you want to say that you do an activity regularly on a certain day of the week, we just put a le in front of the day of the week. So if you do something on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, you put a le in front of it. Je fais du patin à glace le mercredi. To say that you're doing something only on one particular day, you use the day of the week with no le in front of it. Je vais faire du patin à glace mercredi. I'm going to ice skate Wednesday. Does that make sense? Only put a le in front of the day of the week if you do it every week on that day. All right, let's scroll down. We have a new verb. It's called aller. Répétez, aller. Aller means to go. So if you want to say to go, we say aller. But if you want to say I am going, you are going, he is going, we need to conjugate. And this verb is irregular like avoir and faire and prendre. So there's no like taking the infinitive and adding in something. It's simply memorizing words. Okay? Répétez, je vais. Je vais means I go, I am going, I do go. So 3 different translations for present tense. Remember that? But only one way in French to do it. You memorize that je goes with vais, V-A-I-S. Répétez, je vais. Tu vas. That S is silent. Répétez, tu vas. Il va. Elle va. On va. Nous allons. Vous allez. Ils vont. Elles vont. So we are going to be working on this new verb. And with aller, we can use it 2 ways. We can say I am going and a location, right? Je vais à l'école. I'm going to school. Or we can talk about those future plans. I am going to see a movie this weekend. Je vais voir un film ce weekend. So again, we can talk about where we're going or our plans of what we are going to do. Aha! It's a great verb. And we have a wonderful song we will be singing soon to help us memorize because we know that if we can put the conjugation to a song, it sticks in our head more. So we will be getting to that. Let's keep scrolling down. And If we get all the way to where it says vocabulary again, we have places where we're going to do these activities. Hey, yay, the blue went away. Okay, everybody there? Where you and your friends go. So we have O in front of some of these, and that means that we're going to a masculine place because we know A and L contract to O. Okay, and a few of them are going to be a la. So if you look down here, the beach and the pool are feminine, so they don't contract. So I'm going to the restaurant would be au restaurant, but I'm going to the pool à la piscine. Or do you want to meet up at the pool à la piscine, or do you want to meet up au parc, at the park? So that's why we're seeing au versus à la. Any questions about that? Let's répéter then. Au restaurant, au cinéma, au parc, au stade. Everybody should be répéting. Au zoo, au centre commercial. I don't see your mouths moving or hear you. Au zoo, au centre commercial. À la plage, à la piscine. Au musée, à la maison de jeunes. Au théâtre, à la bibliothèque. So you can see how we're going to put the first set of vocab together with the second set of vocab. Activities that we are going to do and where we're going to do them. So je vais voir un film au cinéma, or je vais manger quelque chose au restaurant, or je vais voir une pièce, see a play, au théâtre. Do you guys remember what la maison de jeunes is? That is where all of your sports clubs and activities are in your communities. Remember, they're not through the school, they're à la maison de jeunes. So this is a super important thing in the community because it's where all your fun happens. Sports, clubs, and activities are all through la maison de jeunes, literally house of the youth house where everybody goes. You don't have to be a kid either. The whole community can use it, but it's kind of like the rec center, but way more. All right, I think that's it, but let's scroll down and see. Oh, it talks about how you have the contractions, which I just explained, and panorama culturel, which we'll do later. Yep, that is it for the first etap. All right, so this is the book pages where you can find all of this, and we might do some activities with that later. Let's go ahead and look at our slides now. So under your book pages, you've got 6.1, the first etap, and here is where you have your slides, you have your Conjumago activities, your Quizlet activities. If you lose your note sheet that I'm about to give you, it is here. And so we're going to go ahead and click on the slides. If you are absent today and you are testing, I hope you come see me during Academy, or I might hunt you down to give you the note sheet. All right, so we are first going to review our old verbs. Every time we have a new verb, we review our old verbs, which, by the way, we have a final exam coming up. This is the kind of stuff that we need to be reviewing anyway, so perfect timing. We need to know all of our verbs and how to conjugate them. So our ER verbs, represented here by jouer, even though there's hundreds of them. This is our only one where we have a pattern, right? Where we take off the ER from the infinitive and then we add in our endings. S, S, O-N-S, O-N-S, Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-N-T, N-T. Hooray! Then we have faire, which we conjugate like to the tune of Alouette. Je fais, tu fais, il fait, elle fait, on fait, nous faisons, vous faites, ils font. Awesome. We've got avoir, avoir pour la possession. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, ils ont, avoir. Prendre, which we don't have a song for prendre, but we just had it in the last chapter. To have food or drink. Je prends, tu prends, il prend, nous prenons, vous prenez, ils prennent. And then we have our new verb. And we do have a song to go with this. I will show it to you in a minute, but let's just répéter it one more time. Class, allez, je vais, tu vas, il va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. And we don't want the lesson, we want the song. You will like it. Let's listen. Here we go. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont, je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. I'll get a little early. Sing it now! Je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. All right, you ready? Last time. Tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Elle va, nous allons, vous allez, ils vont, elles vont. Ah, oui. So we want to get that verb stuck in our heads, that little song, so we always remember the verb aller. All right, très bien. So then, let's see. In your notes, guys, on the front is our straight up vocabulary that I just gave you the packet, but turn to the other page, and we will get back to the vocab in just a second. Follow along with me. It says new verb aller at the top. And we're going to say aller means to go. Aller means to go. And we are going to conjugate it. Je vais. Don't forget that in the present tense, je vais is the only way to do it in French. But in English, we can say I go, I am going, and I do go. So we can have different helping verbs there, am and do, or not have a helping verb, I go. Never do you have a helping verb in French. It's just je vais. That is it. Silent S. Tu vas. Silent S. Il, elle, on va. Nous allons. Typical ONS last three letters, right, for new. And typical EZ for vous. And then il and el pluriel vont. Now, we just watched the song, but there's also many different YouTube lessons if you want somebody to review this with you and you want to hear the pronunciation again. So, voilà, voilà. Okay, next slide. Number one, we can use Allez to say where someone is going. Je vais au café. I'm going to the cafe. Or we can use it to talk about the future, to say what somebody is going, conjugate your Allez, to do. Use the infinitive after it. Never have two verbs conjugated next to each other. The first verb is conjugated. The second one must be in the infinitive. I am going, and you can hear the infinitive, to do something. Je vais faire du vélo. I am going is conjugated, and then to ride bikes is the infinitive, faire du vélo. Je vais faire du vélo. All right, at this point, I am going to say goodbye to our Screencastify movie because for the rest of the time, we're going to be just taking notes on our old verbs that I've already reviewed with all of you. So you've got jouer, faire, avoir, and prendre. And then on the front, you're just going to fill out your notes from the beginning slides. Well, actually, there they are. So your notes on your different activities and where you do them. So, oh, and also talking about that little in front of the day of the week. So go ahead and fill out your notes. And then there is 3 worksheets that will be popping up, and we will be going over those. We're going to be doing 1 or 2 together, and then whatever is left over is homework. So if you miss class today, you'll have all 3 to do. All right. Thank you. Au revoir and à bientôt.